seconds remaining.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the SkinCoin WCA coverage here, group stages, on what is our final day of the group stages here. After today, we'll know which two teams from each of the two groups are advancing on to the following round. What will be the playoff stage? Again, competing ultimately for this $50,000 approximately prize pool, as well as 2 spots being on the line for the eventual LAN tournament, where then even a bigger prize pool will be on the line. So obviously looking forward to some great Dota once again today, as this event has been pretty damn entertaining so far. We got Vega Squadron versus SFTe-sports to kick it all off. We have our first of 3 best of 3s coming at you here. And now game number 1 for the day.
5 seconds remaining.
Looking forward to it. I am BreakyCPK, and today I'm going to be joined by my co-caster, Skim. Skim, how's it going, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to this best of 3 because these are really 2 interesting teams. I mean, SFT, we've seen a lot of them in this season thus far. You know, they've been playing a lot of qualifiers, same with Vega Squadron. But because Vega is a CIS team and SFT is classified as a European team, we've never seen these 2 teams compete against one another, at least not on ticket as far as I can recall. So, yeah, looking forward to this match and looking forward to what both teams could show. You know, Vega Squadron just freshly qualified for Perfect World Masters. SFT unfortunately fell in the finals of, I believe it was ESL1 Hamburg qualifiers against Secret. So, you know, 2 strong teams, but Vega maybe a little bit of a high, whereas SFT, they still need to prove themselves.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to put it. SFTe-sports, this is a team that's, you know, been a up-and-coming team, I feel like, for a while. I've gotten the chance to actually cast them throughout the season a fair amount from event to event, and yeah, haven't been able to qualify for that LAN necessarily just yet, but a team that's definitely one to look out for, especially with a lot of these minors coming up here. But I will say in this event, however, with all of that praise, unfortunately, they are currently out of contention as far as advancing on. They did lose their first 2 series, both the Hellraisers and Team Empire, so they currently are sitting at 0 points, and with how it's shaping up, no matter what happens here for them, they are not advancing on. So they're trying to play spoilers, though, against Vega Squadron. I'm sure they're still going to be giving it, you know, quite a bit of effort. Again, these teams with so much going on with tournament play, they usually don't have a lot of time to scrimmage and practice in general. So if anything, I wouldn't be surprised it's kind of that attitude and mentality coming in. But not to take away from the series, but just simply stating facts that is what's on the line here. So I am intrigued, though, with what they bring to the table. They got a Nyx Assassin, Ancient Apparition to start. Seems like things are definitely on board for a pretty solid game so far from them.
Yeah, draft-wise, this is very standard. Bit surprised there was no Necro pick or ban in the first phase. But at the same time, I don't think either of those teams necessarily prioritize it as much as other teams do. But, you know, it's still, I wouldn't necessarily call it surprising, but, you know, Bane first phase pick isn't something that we're used to seeing, but it is something that Vega Squadron like running a lot, so for them, it is not unusual at all, but, you know, just to highlight that one. And SFT, I'm going to go with a Clockwork. It's a good response for sure. It's a very good way of dealing with the Bane and the Earthshaker. He can deal very well with both of them. It's a nice interrupt he has basically 3 interrupts for the Bane ultimate, which is very important in a team. And SFT still have the flexibility of, you know, putting either the Clockwork or the Nyx Assassin in a 4th position.
Yeah, Bane's a very interesting pickup. Like you said, it's a comfort thing perhaps for Vega Squadron. Definitely a team that's known for running it occasionally. And I personally have always been a fan of the idea of Bane in the laning phase. You know, he's a very strong laner in general. Hell, even a solo laner, he could be fun to watch. But yeah, probably going to see more in the support role up here, of course. But as you just pointed out, I mean, they picked Clockwork 3rd, and that right there is a fairly hard counter, it's safe to say, to a hero like a Bane with all that cast animation, the idea of his Fiend's Grip being a full channel ability. It's going to be very difficult for him to ideally get off some great crowd control and really make the most use of the hero. Now, with the Mirana pick, I guess the Nightmare into Arrow is a pretty good setup.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's a really good setup, and they have a lot of control on Vega Squadron's side already. You know, with the Earthshaker, with the Bane, and even with the Mirana in some sense. So it's interesting, though. I think the most interesting part, aside from the Bane in Vega's draft, is that they run this Bane Earthshaker combo quite a lot, and they tend to first phase pick it as well. So. Unlike many other teams, they choose to deliberately pick their 2 supports in the very first phase, which isn't necessarily bad by any means, but it's interesting because it obviously gives the opponent a bit of room to ban or direct your bans and focus onto the core heroes, of course. But though, as I say, that SFT is still banned the Wisp, so maybe they're scared of some sort of potential misdirect with the offlane Shaker. I haven't seen that in quite some time, so I don't think this is not going to happen. But one thing I do want to highlight is the Broodmother ban from SFTe-sports.
Yeah.
They have been absolutely wrecked by Ace's Broodmother a couple of weeks ago, and ever since then, I've always seen them ban the hero in the second phase. It's worth noting that Europe and CIS, both regions, have played Broodmother a lot in the past few weeks. Not only Secret and Ace, but a couple of teams. So it is worth a ban, but it's just something really funny because again, they get absolutely destroyed by that Broodmother.
Yeah, no, we've actually been seeing it a couple of times here in this event. I know the Mag plays in this event, and he's a player known for playing that hero a fair amount, so we've seen him specifically play it. But yeah, definitely been seeing a couple of other teams here and there try to make it work with their lineup. So it's one of those heroes. Just ban it if you have the chance that the other team is going to pick it up. Indeed. Interesting finish here to the 4th picks. For Chaos Knight for SFT, I gotta say, we've been seeing the Illidan Chaos Knight a bit, and this, honestly, it feels like I've been casting this whole event so far, as far as the SkinCoin WCA, and Chaos Knight's probably the most popular carry in this event specifically, and Illidan has played it a lot. I know that for a fact. So, yet again, we're going to see it here. Medusa is the fairly quick response, however, from Vega Squadron with that 4th spot.
Yeah, that's a very good response, dealing with the illusions quite effectively. I mean, they already had the Shaker in the Mirana, with a little bit of AoE damage, but you just need more physical, more sustainable damage against those illusions, and so this is a really good pickup for them. But like you said, CK is just a very popular hero pick in this region right now, or in these 2 regions, I suppose. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think he's been buffed significantly in the past couple of years, pretty much, because he's always been underutilized, and if anything, he was always used with a Wisp. But I think Virtus Pro at the end of last season, and a couple of other teams, showed that there's a lot of potential with this hero, even without the Wisp. So they already have the AA combo as well if they need to, and in general, he's just great at fighting. And then if he does win a fight and has illusions up, that's an immediately tower taking. So the hero isn't bad by any means, and in fact, he's been buffed quite significantly, so he's actually pretty strong. But I think you need to make him work. You need to play very well around him, and it's something that I see a lot of teams struggling with. But like you said, this is like a comfort pick for Illidan. Even back in the day, he used to run quite a bit of CK, so this is definitely something he'll know how to play around.
Yeah, he'll be comfortable on, to say the least. Hell, we've even seen the roaming CK picked up. We saw it yesterday, picked up by a team. That's kind of an adjustment in their draft to pick up CK. I think it was like a 2nd pick, and they're like, hey, maybe this won't work. They ended up adjusting it to the 4 position, and it was pretty fun to watch. But no doubt in this game, it's going to end up in Illidan's hands as their carry hero. The final bands coming out here: Drow into OD and Vega. Interesting. They're going to end up with a Tide Hunter right here with their final pick.
Yeah, I think the Tidehunter pick makes a lot of sense. You definitely need some like frontliner. You need somebody to ideally even build like a mech, because you need some sort of protection for the Medusa. But I totally understand SFT's idea of banning the Draw Ranger. Like, there's a strong chance they just pick Draw Ranger and they just overrun you, right? Because of there's not a lot of deep push. There's not a lot of ways for SFT to engage into a potential 5-man, and there still isn't. So even with the Tidehunter, this is definitely a threat for SFT, a way to engage here, because their initiation right now is a Clockwork Hookshot into an AA Blast.
You may now
And
select your heroes.
not entirely sure Arc Warden is the best answer to that, but Arc Warden is a fantastic hero here. Can split push very well and has a lot of damage for the Medusa as well.
Interesting. We're going to see a Thompson Arc Warden on top of that. So yeah, Illidan will still commit to the Chaos Knight, but Thompson playing the Arc Warden. So now my question is, do they have the Arc Warden in the middle lane here, or are they going to try to swap it up? Yeah, you think the middle lane?
I think it's going to be a mid Arc Warden. What you could do is run the CKAA mid, but I think actually, it's not that necessarily that bad against Bane Mirana or Shaker Mirana, but I think Arc Warden mid should be fine, together with the support, of course, of Nyx Assassin.
Okay. All right,
10
well, we'll
seconds
see how that works out for SFTe-sports. But yeah, the Arc Warden pickup. You mentioned the idea that it's perhaps
5
good against the
seconds
Medusa and
remaining.
this lineup in general. What makes the logic for that, you think?
There's a lot of single target damage. So they have a lot of ways of singling out the Medusa. They have a lot of ways of catching her. So there's a lot of single target damage, of course. And just in general, you want, like, the slow makes it very, not necessarily easy, but it makes it easier to kite the Medusa as well. And in general, I think the split push from Arc Warden is pretty good here. There's not a lot of good ways necessarily to deal with him. Yeah, they have the Bane, but generally speaking, the Arc Warden isn't easy to catch out, and there's always going to be some sort of support anyway. So I'm not sure the Bane necessarily is the best counter to him. But we'll see. I think I'm still worried, of course, about the 5-man potential of Vega. I think if you're SFT, again, you don't really have a good answer to that. Like, once Vega group up like 20-25 minutes in, I'm not sure how SFT is really going to approach it, other than, oh yeah, we'll just split push.
Prepare
So we'll see
for
about that.
battle.
All right, well, Vega Squadron smoking on up. Right away, Bane pours to the middle lane. He's already getting wards down, so getting some aggressive vision for the team. One ward in the middle lane, heading towards top, and he needs to be careful, though, because you look at SFTe as 5. They're all headed towards the top lane themselves. There was a ward that was just placed. They actually pinged the area as if they saw him do that, so... but he was still smoked, so that was actually a curious ping right there. I don't know what they were pinging out.
They might just be pinging like random locations where they expect a ward to be in the long run, and I'm a bit surprised that none of them chose to TP earlier, just to scout out that ward. I mean, it's... Oh, well, maybe they find the Medusa, though.
Maybe. Reality Rift. It's a great ability for engaging initially. Unfortunately, that means he doesn't have a stun, though, and... Impale, maybe. It's going to hit right here. He went Mana Shield. Here we go. A big clash in the river right now. Down goes Nyx Assassin. Afterlight credit for the first blood, and the Ryu actually gets pushed up onto the ledge right here, but now Medusa trying to go the other direction back to the teammates. He eventually will be dropped, though. Chilling touch. So good in this early skirmish right here. So they gave up first blood, but they get one and possibly another in Bane. As he's running the other direction now, Reality Rift going to be on cooldown for 10 more seconds. There's the Cogs Trap. We have an insane fight to kick it off. Not often we get a full 5 versus 5 skirmish like we do here, but ultimately that's going to be the only kills. Again, first blood is given for Vega Squadron, but the response from SFTe is they take out Medusa in the long run.
Nah, but it's still definitely a better trade for Vega. They get first blood, and yeah, sure, they lose the carry, but Medusa's still going to be in the lane pretty much on time. She's not going to miss too much. Maybe one last hit, if at all.
Yeah.
And, of course, she didn't lose any gold because, you know, it's a started game. You spend all your gold anyway.
All right, look at how the lanes are setting up now. Chaos Knight is going to be part of a tri-lane at the top. Clockwork currently back at base, but he's going to TP towards the bottom lane. Make his way in there. Right away, harassment begins on Illidan, but as soon as these supports show, all of a sudden, maybe not the best decision here. Medusa. And this is Aloha Dance, I believe he's also known by. He's going to turn on to Illidan. Put some damage out, but we got a fun 3 versus 3 tri-lane coming at us at the top lane. How is this going to play out, you think? Who has the advantage up here?
I'd probably give it to SFT, just for now. Of course, with the Bane and the Earthshaker, they have a lot of control, but you know, the Nightmare, of course, can be cancelled by any of the 2 supports. And I think there's, in the early stages, there's just more damage on the SFT side with the CK as well, because Medusa, Medusa, realistically speaking, doesn't do too well in the early stages of the game. So
Scene right there.
As you can see, she's already struggling, you know, with regeneration as well.
Well, and they're doing that without Chilling Touch. I mean, it's a fairly long cooldown, but it's going to be back up here now. So one more Reality Rift. This could be a kill on Medusa. And that on top of that, level 2 for Chaos Knight, of course, very important as well. I'm sure he'll get the Chaos Bolt. And that's where the heavy crowd control also starts to kick in. So, yeah, it seems like that the Radiant side is going to be in the favor. And you just see by the positioning right now, Bane and Earthshaker off to the side. You know, what are they going to really do? In fact, Bane, ooh, the Impale misses, though. Pablo, the latest addition to SFTe, unfortunately whiffing that Impale right there. And thus Bane, he's going to be fine for now. But they get the 2-minute bounty rune at least. Taken away.
At the same time, though, Slayer or Soma already heading towards the enemy jungle and grabbing that bounty rune, so basically negating that. Overall, again, it's technically a Radiant favorite tri-lane, but it's also going to be difficult really finding a kill here. Bane is pretty tanky himself, one of the highest stat gains in the game across the board. I think 2.7 on every stat. And then, of course, Earthshaker is quite tanky himself as well as a strength hero. So realistically speaking, yeah, I do favor SFT, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be easy for them to find a kill either.
All right, there are other lanes in this game, I promise. Just been at the top lane this whole time for obvious reason, but let's take a look at the other lanes real quickly. We've got middle lane. It's Arc Warden versus the Mirana here. And so far, Mirana 15-2, Arc Warden 14-5. So very, very even really in the middle lane. It's just a matchup here, especially true 1 versus 1 that you expect to kind of go this way. Actually, hold that thought, because top lane Illidan might be in trouble right here. The fissure block not successful. Almost still got the kill, though, with the tower beating into him, but just not enough damage. And Bane, he might have overstepped his boundaries. Impale comes out, the Chilling Touch applied, and the Cold Feet on top of that. It does proc. The Chaos Ball coming out to finish the job, but actually Chaos Knight goes down in response. He wasn't even necessarily needed right there, and he ends up dying because he went so far. And they take an Ancient Apparition. A double kill for Medusa, and now SFTe, they got to think about what they're doing up here at this top lane.
Yeah, that really wasn't worth it for Illidan. I think maybe if he gets the last hit on that, maybe it was worth it, because then he gets the gold. Yeah, sure, he dies, but kill gold is reliable gold, so you keep it. But he didn't get the kill, so unfortunately he just dies from basically nothing. And they also trade the AA, so not a good trade for them. And this is especially important because of experience, right? Because CK dies before the AA does it, or actually, no, I think he does it after. But still, this is just Illidan dying right now. He needs experience. He's just hitting level 3, which in Trident, of course, it's to be expected, but it's not great, of course, because they need the level. And on the other side, we have the Medusa, who's already sitting at level 4.
Yeah. Middle lane, Thompson trying to slow down G, but not slowed down enough. The fissure kind of making it awkward as well. Tries falling back, but that double damage being picked up. Ooh, the arrow kind of zones out Thompson, forces a couple more auto attacks onto him. Did dodge it though, so he will survive this, but in the end, Mirana going to kind of take over the lane for now. But yeah, so it seems like it's a pretty even lane so far. G's having a slight advantage, if anything. So going back to that, was that maybe as expected for you?
Honestly, it could have gone either way. The upside to Mirana is that you can basically pretty much always secure the kill into the range creep, which is very important in a 1v1 matchup like this. You can always, use the arrow just to get that secure kill on the range creep, and that is just a huge bonus. But again, it could have gone either way. Arc Warden definitely a hero that can get ahead in 1v1s like that.
Oh, Thompson goes down. I'm watching the top lane, though, because there's a skirmish up here as well. Bane falls. Illidan trying to run. And Slayer does not have any mana for any other fissure follow-up, so actually Chaos Knight will survive up at the top. SDST, one more auto attack. He's out of range, though. The Ice Vortex slow. And also remember that now amps his speed as he walks through it himself. So helps him get away and survives at the top. But yeah, how about middle lane? Thompson actually going down to Mirana. I kind of missed that action right there.
Yeah, G just dove with the leap in, and it was just unfortunate because Thompson was just very low HP, and I believe he got the kill before he even got the career with the bottle sent him. So
yeah,
just G with really good timing.
Top lane, they're going back in. They want the Skull Medusa again. She got the mana shield up, so absorbing plenty of damage. Cold Feet, it's not going to proc. Kind of just slithers away. He's fine. Slayer ports in. Has a fissure ready to go, but just continuing the harassment at the top side. And then the bottom lane we haven't even touched on yet, but Tidehunter versus Clockwork, that's probably why. It's a pretty boring matchup. Not a whole lot going on down there.
It's pretty boring in the sense that both are very unlikely to kill one another. At least for now. Because both are just going to harass one another, consistently. But because Niqua can keep Afterlife's mana low, it's going to make it very difficult to for Afterlife to kill him. And at the same time, Niqua doesn't have enough damage to kill Tidehunter. So
yeah.
This is just a farming trade. But Illidan might be dead here.
He's definitely dead.
Yeah.
That was actually, I think, that Bane purposely held off right there to allow Medusa to get that last hit as well. So, figuring that they had the kill secure, that was a nightmare setup into a Mystic Snake. Just trapped him off to the side. So, third death,
lane.
Second death.
Oh, that's a dead Niqua. Should be, anyway. He's so tanky.
Cogs? Yep. Oh, get away! No, the arrow hits. Oh, man, that actually was pretty damn close, but just not enough get away. As you mentioned, pretty tanky.
Good rotation from G. He definitely needs to do something, and this is something that Arc Warden can't necessarily do, ganking this early. You could maybe... Well, Tidehunter is not really a good target to gank. In top lane, if anything, Arc Warden might put himself in danger. Speaking of top lane...
Just non-stop, man. Chilling Touch coming out. Man, show that the last second is not going to be enough either, though. As Medusa falls again, so yet another kill up here. Already have 10 hero kills in 7 minutes. Seems about right with the way this event's been going. Just so many chaotic games. And a lot of kills as a result.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate that Nikwa died, because I think what they wanted was for him to get level 6 and potentially, you know, look for maybe a gank top or maybe mid even. But I think that's kind of set him back a little bit. Oh.
It just doesn't end, man. These guys just want to keep fighting. I love it. No fear. And but overall, it's, I mean, you look at the net worth currently, it's the top 3 all belonging on the dire side, and Medusa even, God, Medusa's doing much better than the Chaos Knight especially. He has over 1,000 net worth lead now on the CK. So overall, the skirmishing is to their advantage, and again, they're going to go on Aloha dance right here. He's might actually die. Go figure. Nope, maybe Mana Shield's going to save him. Pablo running, has stick charges, so the Impel will be ready here. And can he land it is the question. Yes, he can. Still not enough damage, but the auto attacks finally do him in. So there we go. Eventually gets the kill. But I was going to say, when is G going to arrive? Well, he's here now, bitches. Starstorm coming out, but he's stuck in the trees. Oh, Bane has to assist him at eating out the tree. The arrow is not going to hit. STST, though, still running after him. Has that hatred, of course, but he took forever to get out there initially. And the jukes and jives coming out the Reality Rift pull in, not going to be enough, though. STSD will fall. He slows down now a little bit. Moonlight Shadow's active, but here comes a hook shot. And now G's in trouble if they kill G. This is a huge counter kill. They do not have vision, though. It doesn't matter. The Spark Wraith happens. And that's a huge kill for Thompson. 342 bonus gold already.
It really is a huge kill for them, and they only trade, what, the AA for it, so definitely worth it for them. Well, yeah. This is SFT just, I think, prioritizing the Arc Warden over anything, really. What they did was just trying to keep running at this Medusa. Surely, yeah, Medusa still got a really good landing stage out of it, but they're trying their best to keeping her down. And you can already see, you know, Medusa goes bottom, sure. Illidan follows her as well. Both supports are going to arrive soon as well, so I'm not sure this is the best strategy to deal with Medusa, but it is certainly the one that SFT chose to, and we'll see if it's going to work out for them. If they get this kill, they should be able to get it.
Bottom lane down there. Well, again, it takes forever with that Mana Shield level 3 now. He's tanking up quite a bit. He's phase boots. Got the fissure happening. Did not stun Illidan, though did stun Nyx Assassin.
Ravage
will survive. Ravage is ready, you're right. He does not use it just yet, though. And they may miss out on killing Nyx Assassin because of that, too. Yeah, he was hesitant to use it right there. If they kill Nyx, in hindsight, you think it's worth it? Oh, G goes down middle lane. There's Thompson there.
Nah, I don't think it's worth it just for Nyx Assassin. I think you definitely want to keep it, because that way you can, you know, just being there can discourage a kill. For example, if Medusa gets dove on again, you can just TP in, and people will almost always just retreat because you don't want to fight into the Ravage.
Well, now he has to Ravage for the middle lane.
Yeah, that is definitely worth it for the Arc Warden for sure.
Thompson, G, you got to figure he's going to port it immediately. Yeah, there we go. There's the Gush. There's the Fissure. Will he even need Ravage? Probably not. Nightmare.
Well, they don't.
Arrow. That's an easy kill. Yeah, no Ravage needed. 4 heroes all of a sudden show up. That'll do it. Bottom lane, Medusa again. That Mana Shield is getting beefier and beefier. It's level 4 now, but it's still not enough. That is true. Nyx Assassin with the Mana Burn. Pretty good value against the Medusa here.
This time around, they executed it perfectly, which they didn't before. Before they initiated without the AA around, and they definitely need a cold feed proc to get the kill. Because the CK stun is very unreliable. It's obviously only level 2, so the minimum stun can still only be 1 second, and a 1 second stun is not going to be enough. Even a 2 second stun can't be enough. So they executed much better this time around. And Nikwa, poor Clockwork. He just wants the Blight Mail. I'm not sure he's gonna get it though. They're not gonna cut. They're not gonna pursue it.
He's fine, yeah. Yeah, Skim, I know you haven't been cast in this event with me so far, kind of later notice here, so I do appreciate that first off. But I will say this. This is pretty much the theme of these matches in this event so far. Again, this is just, it's continuing to just so much chaotic action. And by the way, speaking of that, Nikwa is, what's going on up here? I mean, he's going to try to get denied. That was a hell of an attempt. Yeah, 4 heroes, even a Ravage committed for that. But now the Ravage also helping out to finish off this massive stack right here at the top lane. But yeah, it's just been nonstop entertainment with this event. Something about it just is making these players just go all over the place with kill after kill. In the same case here once again. So loving to see it. And now middle. Oh, nice reaction. The stun came out a little bit late. He wanted the auto attack first, and it's one of those cases, did they really need that auto attack damage? Possibly. but that means
Possibly,
the stun is late.
yeah. It's a difficult call to make, but it's good on Aloha Dance G of course. G of course to survive. And Thompson, you know, taking the lead in the net worth chart with the Midas of course. So he's pretty much the real carry of course for SFT, as any Arc Warden would be.
Do they have vision for down here? Moonlight Shadow's activated. They do not have vision.
They might just be able to trap him inside until the Moonlight Shadow runs out, but Vega's already rotating, so
yeah,
looks like they want to fight this.
That's risky because it's a Tidehunter, so he is really tanky. It goes without saying. In fact, there's a Fissure block now. Really awkward position. Hookshot gets him out, though, I guess. And Arc Warden's also here. Spark Race going out. He puts the Flux on Earthshaker. Earthshaker just walking up. He has an Echo Slam for this as well as G jumps in. And the Fiend's Grip locking down Thompson. Thompson ends up going down. So Tidehunter, he's still alive as 4 heroes are beating on him this whole time. He has a salve as well. And the Magic Wand charges a salve going off. He got the Nightmare, but he'll survive for now. The Reality Red pulling. Illidan's in trouble, though. And Afterlife stays alive the whole time. That's Tidehunter for you, ladies and gentlemen. They're also going to get Nikwa. He's still alive. And Pablo's trying to barely get the kill. He finally will, but at what cost? It's a full wipeout for Vega Squadron. Hey, at least they killed Tidehunter, right?
I guess. What was this fight? You weren't kidding when you said it's all-out action. But what was this fight? Alright, as you pointed out multiple times, why do they engage on the Tidehunter in the first place? And why did they commit so much for the Tidehunter? When they got Fissure blocked with the 2 of them, they should have just, you know, maybe just given up on it. And when the Arc Warden got caught out, nobody helped him. Everybody was just still focusing on the Tidehunter. Poor Arc Warden just got, well, killed by 3 heroes and nobody did a single thing while they didn't kill the Tidehunter. So, SFT, I know they're already out, but this is still a very bad performance from them.
That seemed a little silly. It's one of those heroes you just find yourself saying, as a spectator and caster, and just, what are you doing committing so much to such a beefy hero of it? When you're playing the game, it's that understandable tunnel vision you get. It's like, God, we're so close to the kill, let's just make it happen. And then that's what happens, though, in the long run. So, and Thompson again, he's probably dead here. Yeah, Fissure. They have a Ravage, but again, do they really need it? Most likely not. Easy kill. That's the same execution that we saw last time they rolled 4 rotated in. Really. I mean, Gush into Nightmare, into Fissure, into Arrow. It's just, the setup is all there for these abilities.
Oh, Pablo. What a player.
That was a reaction. Reaction to the Nightmare. Now Bane, he's dead.
It was actually the Fiend Scrib even.
Oh, it was?
He's Fiend Scrib on it. Yeah.
Ah, that makes even more sense. Yeah, that's not a cooldown wasted, actually. And Ravage committed for this. Pablo, another nice bike carapace. Keeps him alive a little bit longer. Nikwa. The Cogs, unfortunately, not in range of Marana, and thus she will finish off the job, or Afterlife more so with a Gush. Pablo, another nice spiked carapace. He's managing to barely stay alive on the outskirts. Arrow's going to be randomly thrown, but a little off from G right there. Starstorm maybe. Oh, gets Vendetta off. And he will be able to escape just barely. But, you know, a minor victory in the long run for SFTe. As I will say, I mean, Arc Warden is continuing to be on top. Excuse me, on top of the net worth chart here. At 6,600 net worth right now. Just barely above Marana and the other couple of cores here on the Dire side.
Yeah, but unfortunately for SFT, and there are ways to deal with the Arc Warden, right? They have the Bane, they have the Earthshaker, so there's a lot of control. There's a lot of even single target control, so it's just not going to be an easy fight for them.
Hey, it's been about 20 seconds, Skim. We need another fight to happen, and Medusa will be engaged as a result, and that's probably another kill. Reality Rift, yep. They catch Bane. He does not have Nightmare. He has a Brain Sap, but he couldn't even activate that, and it goes back to just clock with the battery assault. It's good luck getting that off even, so. Even if he does, he's still dead anyway. So a couple more kills. They're keeping the roam up. How's Chaos Knight doing? Illidan, he has been doing this a couple of times, and I want to say more of the games than not he's been playing the Chaos Knight recently. He's going the Hand of Midas first. Even despite this being such a crazy, chaotic game, still committing to that Hand of Midas. Do you like that decision, or think it's a little silly?
I like it. I like it. CK inherently doesn't farm well, so I do think that the Hand of Midas is a good way of dealing with that mid-game sort of depression where you tend to fall off and farm. You know, CKs tend to have like good early games and then they just fall off significantly after they pick up their armlet or whatever because they just can't keep up with other carries, especially not with Adusa, of course. So getting the Midas is a very good way of dealing with that. Reminds me very much of, pretty much the old days, TI2, TI3, when Loda would pick up pretty much Midas on every hero, most significantly on his CK. And again, I think it's a smart pickup together with Thompson on Midas. I do think this is the one way of dealing with the Medusa pretty much, because Medusa is always going to outfarm you. Same with Potom as well. Potom just inherently farms faster than you.
Speaking of that, we do have some interesting item builds to kind of talk about here. First off, on Mirana, the Dragon Lance and a Hurricane Pike. Other than that's like crazy by any means, but I feel like a lot of these Miranas have been going more the Yasha Manta style, Diffusal, kind of that combo there. Do you like the idea of the Dragon Lance though into the Hurricane Pike first?
100%. I like it. They need somebody to build a Force Staff against the Clockwork, and right now they have nobody because the Medusa, of course, is not going to prioritize the Dragonlance. I mean, she could have technically, but I think having it on the mid heroes makes more sense, just so that Aloradance can focus on farming and becoming the carry, and of course Earthshaker went with a blink, so there was nobody else to buy the Force Staff really, and he definitely needed one. There's a lot of ways of building the Mirana. There's even of course the Aghanim build, which could have been nice here, but with the Nyx Assassin roaming around, and just generally, I think the right-clicking build is more efficient here in this game against the CK illusions as well.
All right, we got to talk about this build on Medusa. The Ags coming out for Medusa right here. That Mystic Snake going to be the stone effect.
So good. It is so good, especially against CK. But it's just a really strong pickup, and that makes it even better to have a right-clicking Mirana build because, of course, the Mystic Snake does what turn targets into stone with the Aghanims. So just having more physical damage available is there's a synergy there. So I don't know. I love that item, and I've seen a couple of different Medusa builds where they pick it either second or third. But I do think it makes sense to have it as a second item, or maybe I guess as a first big item. You can't really count the Yasha as a first big item. It makes sense because it's just a good stat item that helps you farm and helps you tank ganks better and sufficiently, and it allows her to fight early on as well. No other damage item really does that. Could argue the Maelstrom maybe, but I think this is a much more effective way of taking or having the Medusa in early fights.
Yeah, and I think it kind of works on Medusa, too, as you're almost getting at there as well. The idea of the stats that are provided. So a lot of times on these carries, they may have an Axe effect, but it's not just – it just doesn't make sense when it comes to the stat buildup. You're spending 4,200 gold, essentially, on almost some – not useless, but, yeah, again, it's just not as efficient for them. But for Medusa, especially having that Mana Shield focused ability, the idea of the point booster, even the intelligence of the Staff of Wizardry, it's very, very good for her to have. And you got the agility, of course, as well as the strength all across the board. Very good stats to have. And then that on top of just, again, what the effect is, it does seem to make it a pretty strong item, actually, on the hero.
Yeah, it is. You could argue maybe Manta Style first would be better, but I don't think the Manta Style is really going to do much in this game. And I think, having that extra ability effectively, or improving the Mystic Snake, is very well worth it in this game. Again, it's very effective here, and I wouldn't be surprised if once they do pick up the Aghanims, they might even smoke up and try and look for one fight. I don't think Medusa will be very active in fights from there on out because it's still a Medusa. She'll still want to farm, of course, but with that, her fighting capabilities just skyrocket. Because if you wanted one item to just farm more and farm more efficiently, it wouldn't be the Aghanims.
Well, the Bane tried. He tried to Fiend Script, and immediately Clockwork was there to respond with a hook shot, so that got canceled. But, however, they're still chasing. In fact, going after Clockwork, the Echo Slam even coming out for this. That Nightmare is going to stop him in place as well and set up for both Mirana and Titan under the chase. Now, Chaos Knight, the Ravage committed just in time. If that was a half a second later even, they are not catching Chaos Knight right there. So, perfect timing, really. And that's going to be a transition into the bottom tower kill as well. So, Vega Squadron coming out of the pause and coming out on fire.
Not sure what Illidan was doing there. If he just TPs, deeper in the tree line, he probably gets away because it's going to be much more difficult for them to scout him out. But, well, they both die at the same time, though CK will have his Midas off cooldown once he comes back, so it's not that big of a deal, I suppose. But yeah, Vega Squadron definitely they get a lot of map control out of taking out of this tower because they have easier access into the enemy jungle now. And I don't know, I could just applaud Vega for using the Bane as well as they do. I've only seen, I think, one match or one series where they have the Bane, and you know, it's so refreshing to see. You know, a lot of other teams, they stick to, you know, those Earth Spirits, the Night Stalkers, the Nyx Assassins, what have you. But you know, the Bane is such a different hero that it's not, obviously it's not a roam, it's still a 5-position support, but he enabled so many other heroes, right? Like this Potom. Part of the reason this Potom works in this game is because of the Bane.
Oh yeah.
You could still run the Potom without the Bane, of course, but you know, it enables the Potom to be so much more effective in games and fights. So I don't know. I think it's just such a smart pick, and I wonder if maybe Vega could even establish this Bane in the meta right now, because I do think they make it work very well.
Just in time before that new patch to hit, hopefully soon. All right, Nightmare on a Nyx Assassin. The arrow will connect. He did a good job initially of taking off the Nightmare with his illusion, but then he still got hit by the arrow. And obviously the finish is there. Slayer, credit for the kill, but the right idea from Pablo, unfortunately, just could not avoid that inevitable arrow that was coming out, and then the reaction from SFT as a whole. It's just going to be a little bit too late, it seems like, as Slayer, yeah, he'll blink away and prevent them from catching him. So you can see SFT moving around. They've only gotten the one tower kill so far in the middle lane, and but you got to keep looking back at Arc Warden, man. He's starting to really jump up there now. He has a Mjolnir in the works to follow up the Maelstrom here, so he's going to go first on a Mjolnir really on top of the Midas and bots here. There's definitely a plethora of items that Arc Warden could go for and inevitably will go for, but I think it's necessary to go for the full Mjolnir first.
Yeah, it's very effective. You're just pushing up the waves, and the more attack speed, the easier it is to take down the towers. Yeah, sure, you can get damage as well, because you have already a bit of attack speed with the, what's that field called again? The magnetic field.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just a very standard build at this point.
Medusa, gonna use your Scream right here. Has support coming in, Ravage included. Not necessary though, unless they want to maybe set up a turn. There we go. Out comes the Ravage. Medusa pops a wand and thus has more mana and health to work with. Illidan, he's gonna put the stun up on an Earthshaker, but that ain't gonna work. Double kill coming out for G. So great turnaround, and that's definitely a strength of Vega Squadron's lineup too. It takes a while to kill heroes like this Medusa and Tidehunter, and if you don't kill them quickly enough, that response will come in, and they have a lot of potential for that turn kill, as we see right there.
Yep, and the way SFT is right now, they can never take a 5-on-5 fight by any means, and of course a 3-on-5 fight is out of the question, especially. But I think if you're SFT, you still think to yourself, all right, we're buying time and space for this Arc Warden to, you know, to get something. But at the same time, as you can see, he's a bit hesitant because not seeing a certain amount of heroes makes it very difficult to commit to a tower. Of course, he has now, but still, he was very hesitant because Bane, Earthshaker, those two heroes almost alone can deal with him. You know, if they have all their spells up with Fiend Script, Echo Slam, that's almost sufficient enough to kill the Arc Warden. So this is something he has to look out for going forward. And this is something that, you know, is very good about Vega's lineup. They don't have to commit every hero to kill other heroes. And, you know, the Dusa, as you mentioned, it's very difficult to kill, especially now with the Aghanim's.
Freaking Mask of Madness on Mirana's finish now. And this is not only a later on Mask of Madness, but again, we don't typically see it on Mirana, but I'm just never surprised anymore whenever I see Mask of Madness picked up by anyone. The value of this item is just clearly so highly sought after that Mirana in this case is going to be picking it up too. There's a free kill on Bane, by the way. Illidan seems like. But top lane now, Nyx Assassin could be in some trouble. Thompson is porting in with the Tempest double here. And going to try to push them back. Those up the Mjolnir. And it's just going to simply do as much push as possible before wearing out 5 seconds. But look at Earthshaker. He's just sitting by patiently, waiting for maybe the Nyx Assassin to make a play. But no, not going to be the case. And they'll fall back to the tower. But yeah, Mask of Madness on Mirana now. Even picked up here.
Like I said, at this stage in the patch, you're really not surprised by anybody picking up the Mask of Madness anymore because so many have been doing it. But at the same time, I'm not too sure about this pickup. Personally, you know, yeah, sure. Once you use your Starstorm and Arrow, I guess there's not too many reasons to have any of your abilities, so silencing yourself isn't that big of an issue. But if you get caught out, you know, that 8 seconds silence, that can feel like an eternity if you don't have the leap available.
Yeah.
So I guess at the same time, SFT hasn't really been that big of a threat, and you do have the Hurricane Pike as an escape mechanism. So in that sense, I guess it's fine, but it can definitely backfire. But like I said, obviously it's going to accelerate his farm quite significantly.
Oh, Mystic Snake is now really powerful as Axe is finished on Medusa. Has a Lincoln Sphere also queued up on top of that, so going to be really playing to survive in these fights and rely on that Mystic Snake Stone effect to help amp the damage, but also rely on G to put out plenty of right click, and that's definitely a build that he is going for. Not only with the Mask of Madness, but now the Maelstrom even coming next to line. So the right clicks of G are going to be very powerful this game to follow up in these fights as they smoke up. They're hunting towards the top lane. Nyx Assassin, he may expose the smoke, but he's also trying to help over here. We got Medusa and pulled into a fight, but here comes that response that we're talking about. The Echo Slam on top of the Ravage, and CK falls. Nyx Assassin also going to be picked off. The arrows dodge, despite Carapace keeping it alive a little bit longer. Not nearly enough, though. Thompson again with a Tempest double, but they'll kill that off quickly. And we're just continuing to see time after time in these last couple of fights where it's like they jump Medusa and think that, okay, maybe we have a kill, and then all of a sudden everybody's there for Vega Squadron and returning the favor.
Yeah, and this time around, it wasn't even because they, TP to a tower or whatever. It's just Vega. I think they read this gank attempt perfectly. They smoked up very early on, knowing that Medusa. Of course, it's a juicy target if there's a single Medusa in the top lane. But at the same time, I think SFT should have been aware that if the Medusa is pushing that far up, she's not going to be alone. Maybe they felt confident with their burst damage. Oh, speaking of, no, Nico is going to survive.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they felt overly confident with the amount of damage they had. If the A blast connects, maybe they get that kill. But like you said, Vega's just doing a really good job at making sure they always are there to respond to these gank attempts. And thus far, SFT sort of always lagging behind in terms of strategic movements. It feels like Vega always has the upper hand when it comes to that.
Oh, interesting here. Medusa kind of diving towards a side shop and happened to run right past Arc Warden, and he's making him pay for that. So this time, they do secure the free kill. And no response happened, so nice find right there. Arc Warden now has a full Hurricane Pike being delivered out. So you can never overlook that fact that despite this game looking very good as a team, as I say this though, Thompson, he's going to be arrow comboed with the Nightmare setup and all the evasion. Oh, what a bubble at the last second, and great support as well from Ancient Apparition to help out even. He lived. I mean, that's crazy. He should not have lived there, it feels like. And he managed to.
But it's a level 20 Arc Warden. It's very difficult to, deal with him. But at the same time, G is keeping up with form. Yeah, he's behind 5k, but, he's only behind 5k, and he's a level behind the Arc Warden, who has had a Midas for, what, 15 minutes now? Longer?
Yeah.
G's playing absolutely insane, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. No, I always, whenever I get the chance to cast Vega, that's the player I honestly look forward to most watching. He's a very, very good mid player. And I don't want to say underrated necessarily, because people know of him for sure, but he's definitely one that stands out in my mind when you kind of are looking at maybe tier list of mid players throughout the scenes here. So
yeah, when he was part of LGD Int and when he was playing in China, they actually banned his TA pretty much consistently because they respected it too much.
Yeah, got that there. That's Nyx Assassin Clockwork opening, and then Thompson's there as well with the bots poured in, and ends up helping to set up that kill pretty quickly. So yes, I mean, Mirana's kind of keeping up with the level 19, as you're even mentioning, but man, this Arc Warden, he's a hero that can take over games almost by himself, it feels like. He's one of those, that's why you even pick up the hero, maybe a little bit slower of a start, but that start is now gone. It's 28 minutes in, and Arc Warden has 18,000 net worth. That's good 4,000 to 5,000 more than the next in line, which is that Mirana. And that means the Diffusal Blade is now even coming for Arc Warden right here. So we haven't been able to see the split push too much yet, but you figure that's inevitably going to start happening too from Arc Warden at this point. What's going on up here, Nyx Assassin?
Yeah, that's a dead Nyx Assassin, for sure.
Okay.
It should be anyway.
And Chaos Knight dies again elsewhere. Oh no. Pablo. Okay. Man, Chaos Knight, on the other hand, he has just had a brutal game.
He has, but at the same time, I think it sort of was necessary in some stages. The early laning stage where we highlighted how they were just, running at Vega and running at the Medusa. They always kept the supports busy, and the supports were never able to really rotate to the mid lane. So this is one of the reasons why Thompson is so farmed as he is, because they literally bought enough space and time for him. But of course, you know, I'm not sure they can really take it into the late game where Thompson can solo carry this just yet, because I think Vega is fully aware that, you know, there is a certain timing where they might have issues dealing with this Arc Warden, and, you know, with this Aegis, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and force the issue. Once there's a Linken's up on the Aloha Dance as well, it's going to be difficult for SFT to fight into this. And yeah, the Ravage is still up. They didn't even need it to commit to any of these kills. So, as always, SFT really can't engage into these 5-man pushes from Vega if it does occur.
Yeah, I think those items are going to be the key as well. Not only getting the Aegis, but the Linken Sphere, and then Mirana getting the Mjolnir. It's actually almost finished on him as well. So once they have those big items there, then making a play as far as pushing into the base even. Very likely what we're going to see here from Vega Squadron, because yeah, as you point out, it's not something you want to just keep on delaying forever. Take advantage of this quote-unquote lead that you do have. As I say that, I mean, technically it's a net worth lead for SFTe, but you get the point. That's not always just about simply just that net worth.
About that net worth lead, though, we have 5 Midases on SFTe. They are committing to this late game, and you know, if you deduct the amount of money they spend on Midas, which effectively is only a farming item, I mean, yeah, the attack speed is nice, but effectively speaking, it doesn't really do too much. It's still like what 10,000 gold they invested into, you know,
just farm,
furthering the net worth, into just farming effectively. So it's I think it's a right move from SFT, because they needed to get into the late game, and you know, if they do plan on getting into the late game, they need more items, obviously, on every hero pretty much. But at the same time, you know, I think in the next 10, maybe 15 minutes, they're still very vulnerable to a 5-man push on Vega Squadron. So if that ever happens, and if they get caught out like they do just now, they give Vega Squadron a really good window to take him down.
But this is, again, power of Arc Warden. They actually kill Mirana. The freaking Arc Warden Tempest double comes in, takes out the Aegis. He's going to deal plenty of damage as well. Don't tell me he's going to kill him again. Oh my god, he almost got him again.
He almost would have, yeah.
Jesus, if the whole team wasn't here ready to crowd control and help out, then maybe that's a kill of Mirana. So just really shows you, just right there, a visual that Arc Warden is massively farmed and can definitely fight against this team. So all of a sudden they don't have an Aegis now on the Dire side, and that does complicate it a little bit, because again, as we just saw right there, if you try to push it to the base and Arc Warden gets that isolation with the hero specifically like a Mirana, gets the quick pick, then that can really throw you off in the fight. So you do have to be careful here for Vega Squadron with all-out committing necessarily into a push.
And that's why that's why Afterlife also obviously kept onto his Ravage. He could have technically used it for what, the Nyx Assassin and the Arc Warden ultimate, the illusion, but it wouldn't have been worth it, of course.
That would feel so bad. It's like, see, that's the thing. I find myself saying illusion as well from time to time, but frankly, it's not an illusion. it's not an illusion. It's literally the hero. It's, again, the Tempest double. It just happens to be where if you kill it, it doesn't really hurt Arc Warden necessarily. That's just what makes this hero so ridiculous. Echo Slam, by the way, on 2 heroes nearby. Bane is in trouble, dying to the Tempest double, but that Echo Slam was insane. The Ravage on top, however, they lost their initial firepower, and Thompson is still plenty alive. They get a couple of turn kills. Medusa gets there late. Finishes off that Tempest double, but all they really lost was the Nyx Assassin in this fight. And now G's even running in. Don't know if you want to be doing that. In fact, Clockwork catches him. Cogs pushback has a leap, as well as the Moonlight Shadows. Meaning to activate it here. The leap into 4-staff. Nice job with the positioning. Even gets the Linken Sphere put up on him as he's going to continue running. Oh, the blink after the Reality Rift right there. Well played by Slayer, but they still catch up to the Tempest double. Will also cut him off. The Flux is put up, and thus a kill onto Slayer coming out right there. So, I don't know, man. Have we already hit that mark where Arc Warden's just out of control? It feels like it.
No, not yet. It was a very unfavorable fight for Vega to begin with. Yeah, they got like a nice Echo Slam and beautiful, 4-man Ravage, but neither the Mirana nor the Medusa were really there to take advantage of it, and which is a really very split and awkward fight. And I think it may look like it, but I do think that Vega Squadron should still feel very safe in that in that regard. But at the same time, they should also probably just group up and push at some point, because I think they're just giving them a little bit too much time. And
yeah.
Arc Warden is always going to be able to pick him apart just by himself. So, Bane almost died up top, or could have potentially died up top. And they also lost all their other towers. So going forward, this is going to be dangerous for them because they don't want to enter a sort of like base race scenario against an Arc Warden.
That's a good point, because when you really do look back at that fight right there, that was actually Bane, Earthshaker, and Tidehunter. The two really heavy cores, and Medusa and or Medusa and Mirana weren't even there in that fight. They got there very, very late, and by then the fight was already turned around in favor of SFTe. So, yeah, if you're Vega Squadron, I think that idea of, okay, maybe we just need to simply go as 5, and again, not just run at the base necessarily, but push as 5, because we're not really seeing them do that. Instead, they're kind of just continuing to somewhat spread out, and now they're even dealing with Arc Warden, the Tempest double, pushing in the middle lane right here, and you see where their positioning is. I mean, they're all 5 together back in the base. So how do they come out of this? I mean, is smoke possible? Bane does have one. As they once again are running away,
I think
though.
they're smoking up. I think they're just waiting for the smoke right now. They could probably just smoke up behind or in front of the Medusa and try and look for a fight together. Or behind the Mirana. Either way, they should definitely try and do something, I think, together. Or if they do something, it should be together. But they might just also be waiting for another item or two before they really commit to a 5-man high ground push. It's not easy to push high ground against this lineup from SFT by any means, so...
See, but like this. Yeah, Slayer's going in, just leading the way, and he just gets found there pretty easily.
It's a great ward by SFT.
Wait, where was the ward? I don't see a ward.
Oh, they had a ward. It was de-warded already.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, wait, how did they see him? Okay, that makes sense, though.
And then, of course, they do have the gem on the ZK, which is very important against the Mirana, of course, but also against the Shadow Blade of Vega Squadron. So,
that's
I don't know. I think SFT is doing a really good job at trying to get back into this game. Yeah, sure, they give away a couple of kills here and there, but generally speaking, Arc Warden is doing a really good job at making sure to not get caught out, and just always applying pressure with his Tempest double. And he's farming so efficient. I mean, it's an Arc Warden.
I think I gotta go. Yes, I give credit to SFTe, but I as this game's continuing to move on here, I'm beginning to be a little more not disappointed, but a little bit surprised that Vega Squadron isn't trying to, take advantage of the favors that they have when it comes to, again, team fight, like grouping up as 5. We had another situation right there, just as we're kind of going on here, where Earthshaker was way up front. But even if he finds an opening, there was other heroes a little farther, but they were pretty far back. I mean, why are they continuing to try to find these pick heroes rather than just literally doing a death ball? I mean, I guess they maybe want to wait for Roshan, but are they really going to be able to secure a Roshan kill with the positioning right now? Bane, by the way, they do find Nyx Assassin, so they, as I say this, they are going to find a pick. They just take an ice
I think there's a couple of things that they're waiting for. Roshan might be one of them. I'm not sure they really want to wait 10 minutes though, but I think a butterfly is definitely something you want on Medusa because most of the damage on SFT side is purely physical and purely just right clicks. So being able to dodge a lot of that, especially against the Arc Warden, is going to be very important. But I'm not sure about the strategy either because by the time Medusa gets a butterfly, Arc Warden will have a butterfly and is going to be halfway onto his MKB. And oh god, this is just Arc Warden tactics.
Yeah, see now this is starting to happen.
At the same time, Vega, I think they've done, I think for 30 minutes they've done a really good job at picking off SFT heroes with maybe just 2 or 3 heroes committing to it. And I think in Vega Squadron's head, you think to yourself, well, that's still going to be the case, right? We can still pretty much kill anybody as long as it's just the 3 of us. And as long as they are just by themselves. But SFT aren't really giving them these openings anymore just yet.
I don't know. To me, this feels like a game that SFT is in control now, frankly. Thompson's just ridiculous just now with the split push. And now you've hit that mark, as we're seeing here. This is dead tier 3 most likely. They just send in the Phantasm Illusions as well as the Arc Warden Tempest Double himself. And that's a free tier 3 tower kill at the top lane, just like that. So Vega Squadron missed their window. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me, at least. And now they're really having to force to play the defensive game, and now they're having to rely on maybe getting a pick or 2 before they can make a play. But it goes back to their earlier Aegis, where even after the Aegis, but they just did not really push an issue. And we're now 38.5 minutes in, 30,000 net worth just about an Arc Warden. they're not winning fights anymore. I mean, they're getting the occasional pick on a Nyx Assassin. But is that really accomplishing a lot, especially if your Bane dies in return, which he is? Because illusions.
Yeah, this is the next couple of minutes are really going to hurt for Vega Squadron. This is where the Midases from SFT are kicking in.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly they're going to have a level and item advantage, right? Like the Clockwork almost has an Aghanims, the AA almost has an Aghanims. And then there's of course the Nyx Assassin who has an Aghanims already. So these items are slowly kicking in, and suddenly the CK is what, only 3k behind the Dusa, which is quite significant at this stage of the game, considering how the game's been going and how Medusa has been pretty much protected. And, as I pointed out, Illuadance was waiting for an MKB, but he noticed, or he realized, well, damn it, by the time I was saving money for a Butterfly, goddamn Thompson already has a Butterfly, so he needs an MKB. And yeah, now I don't know. Sure, you counter the Butterfly on Thompson's side, but it's still an Arc Warden. True Strike is not going to kill the Arc Warden by any means.
I also look back at this Axe pickup Medusa, and we stressed how good of a pickup it felt like it was, and it makes a lot of sense, and yada yada. I don't know if it's really coming to play yet. It kind of goes back because they haven't really had an engagement. They've had the occasional one, maybe two heroes that they find, but as far as in a team fight is where it's really going to pay off. At that, as well as Stone Gaze itself, we haven't seen her use it because there just hasn't been the opportunity to do so in this game with the way it's going on here.
Yeah, the thing with the Aghanims is, I mean, I made a point of how, it would be great for team fighting because obviously of the additional effect on Mystic Snake. But of course it's also great at, defending the base. But for the, first 30 minutes, Arc Warden wasn't even close to the base at all. So there was no point in having the Aghanims as early as she did. So having something as the Maelstrom potentially just to accelerate her farm, or even the early Lincolns, which is also just a better item really in terms of stats, would have been better early on. So I don't know. Yeah, in hindsight, I also question the early Aghanims pickup. Sure, it's definitely useful now, for sure. Dealing with all those illusions with the Mystic Snake is very, very effective. But you could have also just picked it up now and could have had a much better farming item like the Maelstrom early on.
Yeah, definitely a hindsight thing for sure, but it's... I'm sure you would ask Medusa himself, and he's like, yeah, no, Axe has been pretty much useless with how this game has played out at this time at least. So maybe we'll see an opportunity coming up here as Roshan being done by the Thompson Tempest double, but eventually dies off, and Roshan still has plenty of life, so yeah, they're not committing to it by any means, but Vega, again, it seems that they're continuing to move around as a squad somewhat, but they just can't find the opportunity, and yeah, that's where you do got to go back to SFTe and give them credit for sure as well. It's not just Vega Squadron necessarily not knowing what to do, it's just that they're just not given the opportunity by the opposition in this later part of the game. And even something that's as safe as this, just again sending in the Tempest double, doing a little bit more damage to Roshan, kind of softening him up, and then eventually going in to go for the steal. You see they're pinging it out. They think that's being committed on perhaps, but as we see, that's not the case. Just in the awkward spot now.
It's a very awkward spot for both teams because both really want this Aegis and want the Roshan, because this next Aegis could potentially decide who takes Rex first. But at the same time, they can't really commit on either side.
Oh, that's a commitment of sorts. He barely lives though. Medusa wants this kill. Cohen T finally gets it on Aniqua, so they had to really extend right there.
With that, Vega might just commit because either that or they force a buyback. But since Clockwork doesn't have a buyback, this is going to be Roshan for them. So that was a really good pick-off. I'm surprised that nobody tried that SFT didn't try to fight it, because they were diving quite a little bit into the tier 2 for that. At the same time, though, it's an Arc Warden, so what they're doing is just applying pressure on pretty much every other lane.
That's exactly what they're doing, the Arc Warden. But yeah, we can't overlook just the Phantasm army of Chaos Knight as well again, that he's continuing to set out on missions here in this game. So, Nyx Assassin. By the way, you can see a pick on the Ancient Apparition happening, but Nyx finding Mirana right here. He's going to have assistance from Chaos Knight. He is. The Impale. Can Chaos Knight get in here in time? He can. The Axe effect kicking in. Gets a stun, but Illidan's like, you know what? We don't have enough damage. He just leaves Nyx Assassin to die.
And unfortunately for him, he's sitting just in range of a sentry. That was a little bit awkward. I think the idea was nice, though, but unfortunately, Illidan, if he had been there from the beginning, maybe they get a kill, but I believe Vendetta was also just about to run out, so he kind of had to commit there.
Yeah. It just was for. He's like, all right, I'll help you get the. I'm out of here, man. they're coming. Sorry. Yeah, no chance for Nyx at that point. So Again, a couple of kills, though, but you look at the state of the game and what's happened as a result of that, it's Arc Warden continues to split push, and Vega Squadron just trying to simply push out on their side of the river. I mean, you look at vision right now, both sides have really no vision to work with. There's really no wards. In fact, there's literally 0 wards down right now at 44 minutes.
Yeah, I believe the AA died while he was trying to ward aggressively. So that's a bit of a bummer for SFT. But if you're Vega, I think you're fine with not. I mean, wards are a very delicate resource, right? There's only what 2 every 8 minutes or whatever. And if you can survive like a phase without wards, say if you've survived like 2 minutes, 3 minutes without wards, suddenly you can overwhelm the opponents by having 4 wards at the same time. And sometimes it's also just a bit awkward as a support to find that vision. And I wouldn't be surprised if they, as they push out the lanes, they suddenly start warding the enemy jungle. But as I say that, none of them actually have a ward with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that bad for them, especially if they push out the waves. That's a little bit of vision for them anyway. And traditionally, it's not like SFT has really been a threat, right? It's not like, oh no, we've been ganked by the Nyx Assassin the 100th time. If anything, whenever the Nyx Assassin is attempting to gank, you kill him. Yeah. So if you're Vega Squadron, you don't really feel threatened by the lack of vision. And if you're SFT, yeah, you don't have any vision, but at the same time, you're split pushing anyway, and you're split pushing very safely anyway with the Arc Warden Tempest double.
The Manta style, off the illusions right there. Jeez, Tempest double into Manta style, pretty ridiculous. Speaking of Arc Warden, he currently has a Bloodthorn queued up, but he has a Moonshard E, and obviously he's just ridiculous net worth right now. What does he replace with the Bloodthorn? Is this going to be like a swapping in and out kind of deal with one of maybe the bots even? Maybe does he put that in for the bots and then swap in the bots when he needs a TP? Can he do that?
He could do that, certainly. On the Tempest double for sure. Could even look towards replacing the Manta style once he's already popped the illusions. There's a variety of options here. Boots might probably just be the safest because after you use the TP on the Tempest double, you're not going to need boots anyway.
Big pick. What's that? Mirana. Oh, the save though with the Echo and the Tidehunter coming in with a Ravage. Down goes CK, and Nyx Assassin is going to fall as well. It's the second time we've seen them try to jump Mirana, and this time it almost worked, but you're right. They lose the gem on top of that, and that's that counterplay again from Vega Squadron. So nice couple of kills. Thompson wasn't able to make it there. He's instead pushing out the bottom lane. With this
Actually, I only now realized that this gem originally belonged to Vega in the first place. So they lost it first, which I didn't even realize. So interesting. But yeah, Vega responding the correct way. After getting this kill, they immediately push out the top wave together. But unfortunately for them, G isn't able to kill the illusions quickly, or the Tempest double and the illusions quickly enough. So they lose the tier 3 bottom and half of the HP on the range tracks. But I think this is definitely the time for Vega to push out and try and at least force the buyback here on the CK. They can't really just be more passive.
Yeah. Well, leading the way is Bane up in the front lines. Yeah, we got to start paying attention to level 25s as well. Obviously, Arc Warden's had this for a long time here, but he did go the 30% lifesteal. Medusa, the 2-second Stone Gaze stun. Strong idea there. Again, hasn't used Stone Gaze for a while, but when he does, it'll be that much more powerful. Tempest double coming out here, but they're just going to sleep it up. Will they even try to kill here? Well, I assume they have to. Yeah, there's a Stone Gaze stun with a Mystic Snake. Bane, you got to be careful, man. You do not want to man fight that Tempest double. Seen before. Oh, they catch real Thompson. Thompson, he may have fallen right here. They're using everything, and they do get the kill. He does have a buyback, but they managed to catch him with the arrow, and they also get Clockwork, and now Vega Squadron is looking pretty good all of a sudden. Reality Rift pulling though on Tidehunter. They're just going to blow him up, it seems like. Ice Blast even coming through. Does not, or did he actually connect with the debuff, but he's going to be forced half away and survives for now.
He should die. It's an Aghanim's AA ultimate, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
He should die. Or as I say that, actually...
Yeah, he is, yeah. He is going to die in the end, but hell of a job to save him initially. 90 seconds, though, he does not have a buyback. But again, that was a buyback on Arc Warden being used there.
Yep.
So
buyback on Arc Warden hurts a lot, especially since Thompson has been playing pretty much. I wouldn't necessarily say perfect because he can always play better, but he's been very well. He's been playing very well in this Arc Warden, so it's a bit of a bummer for him and a bit of a victory for Vega. But at the same time, I think if you're Vega, you're a little bit scared at how difficult it was to even get to him and how much damage this Arc Warden Tempest Double did. Like, the Tempest Double almost killed Bane and only didn't kill him because he missed uphill. If he doesn't miss uphill, he actually kills the Bane there. So this is, going forward, it's not going to get easier. It's not going to be easier for them. And I wonder if Vega is actually going to commit to a push because they know there's no buyback, or if they're just going to sit back and wait for the next Aegis. I don't think they have the time to really wait for the Aegis, but I don't know. The way they've been playing, to me, suggests that they might just wait for the next Aegis before they push.
Yeah, would not be surprised either. I mean, I'm trying to see if there's maybe it's a big item coming up they possibly are waiting for, but Mirana has her BKB. It's now 9 seconds duration, but still plenty of time on that. Has about 5,000 gold saved up. Mirana could definitely go for something like the, whether it's the Butterfly or even like the Satanic herself. Obviously, split up that Mask of Madness is what I'm getting at. And could replace that with either or. She wants to. Or maybe even just more raw damage. Maybe like the Bloodthorn or Daedalus herself even. Something to think about here.
The thing with the Bloodthorn is, I don't think it's necessarily that good of an item for them here. It doesn't really do too much for them, really. Especially since both of them already committed to an MKB. So the Bloodthorn kind of loses appeal.
True. So
if anything, it would probably be a Daedalus. And then, but I do think that the Satanic would be the proper response here for G. Definitely needs more HP, and the Satanic could supply a lot of HP for him.
Thompson just sneaks past the Bane right here, but he eventually gets slept, and yeah. So Bane is pretty good for that, where he can sleep these Tempest doubles that try to come in and go for a little backdoor play. So you see that right there. The Phantasm Army top lane.
CK illusions.
Yeah. Rana, man. It's just one of those games where it's like, okay, these are just illusions. You know, I'm fine. It's before you know it, you're just about dead. Ice Blast? It's going to hit. Oh, just out of range.
If that Ice Blast hits, that could be close.
Would have been very close, yeah.
Probably still. Oh, it's only level 2 ultimate. Never mind. Okay. If it's a level 3 ultimate, I think that might actually be the kill. But with a level 2 ultimate, I'm not so sure about that anymore.
Oh, she avoids it. And what did she just buy, actually? She split up the Mask of Madness. She keeps the Quarterstaff, so it looks like Butterfly is
that's fair enough.
Maybe the choice.
This Arc Warden, of course, doesn't have the MKB. Went for the Bloodthorn, which makes a lot of sense, but of course, he's not going to be able to hit both the Mirana and the Medusa anyway, so might as well just keep the Bloodthorn. Oh no! G forced to pop the BKB. That was so close. One more crit and maybe he gets a kill.
That's just the Tempest Double. This hero, man. He can just freely sit in base while it sends out the Tempest Double to push and almost kill the other team's core. The ranged Rax is actually going to fall right here. The Siege Creep is going to kill it. Unless G, not in time. So they get their first Rax now on top of that. It's just a ranged Rax, but here comes the Tempest Double again. Nyx Assassin's also here, so Mirana has to be very careful.
This could be huge.
She does have a buyback. Though. Oh. There we go. They go in. There's a jump from Earthshaker, and they will just kill it off quickly. So, yeah,
Shaker has a gem. He might have seen Pablo. Ooh. Yeah, he definitely sees Pablo now. Illusion. Or does he?
Yeah, they know he's over here. They're waiting to collapse on him, and he goes the other direction. Spiked Carapace. Pablo trying to make the jukes. Unfortunately, runs right back into Earthshaker. On the wrong side of the fissure, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. There you go.
Oh, and he loses another gem. Oh, that hurts a lot. That hurts a lot. Generally speaking, though, these deaths of Pablo aren't necessarily that big of a deal.
No.
Really. He dies very far outside of his own base, and 3 heroes commit to this, so he's wasting a lot of their time. It just hurts that they're losing another gem, really.
The prize is mine.
Well, that net worth all of a sudden tops in on Arc Warden. He's not nearly as much of a lead as was before. Of course, as we've tapered off here into the late game, it's understandable, but point is Medusa as Chaos Knight, by the way, top lane. He's dead. They catch him. G and Slayer come together, and they want more. They want blood on Ancient Apparition, and they'll get it. Yes, double kill. No buybacks on Nyx or the CK. CK's dead for 80 seconds here.
Yeah. The issue is that Vega don't know, and if they knew, of course, they would push high ground, right? 70 seconds with a CKA, we'll take that. But since Roshan is up, they're just going to commit to the Roshan for now. And, I mean, they still might push in high ground with this Aegis, but I don't think they're going to force out a buyback with it. this going to be the second cheese as well? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a third kill, so yeah. Second cheese as well. He just picked up by Mirana. What did Arc Warden end up doing, by the way? He... Wait, he got rid of the Diffusal Blade, okay. I wonder if he even used the Diffusal charges, because when I checked last time, he still had 8 charges on the Diffusal Blade. So it's just more for a damage tool than anything, but he replaces that with just the full Bloodthorn now instead. So again, already has the Moon Shard. He could definitely feed Moon Shard to like the Chaos Knight here. Wouldn't be surprised if he does that next. Or that's on the list eventually. A longer game like this.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue going forward, because Thompson can't really get, much stronger at a certain stage of the game. Because, well, what are you going to do if you're 6-slotted? Yeah, I guess you could do backpack shenanigans, but it's not... Like, backpack shenanigans aren't even that effective on an Arc Warden, because it takes a lot of time, and the Tempest Double effectively can only really use 6 items. I don't know, there's going to be an issue for sure, and Vega, they have shown that they respond pretty well to this thus far, but I think this is going to come down to, can Vega get a pick off and push the high ground? Because if they just push the high ground as 5 just like this, they're going to get traded for sure, because their waves are getting pushed out constantly. So this is going to be a difficult game for both teams, really. Oh, I mean, this still is a difficult game for both teams.
Yeah, no, it's one of those that we could be in this one for a bit longer. Would not be surprised. Only 55 minutes in. Nyx again gets picked off, though. He's just, as you pointed out, I mean, him dying isn't necessarily the end of the world, but still, another find onto him. And they're going to stop this Tempest Double middle lane. Push it out here, so continuing to keep an eye on how, well, Mirana, she was low to something. Ends up getting back to base here, but she still has the Aegis. She has an Eye of Scotty now she's planning to work on here.
It's a great pickup, really. It's a great pickup. She definitely needs the stats. Look at her HP, only
1900,
below
yeah.
2K.
Arc Warden's getting a very late BKB, so I guess that's an item that he could pick up here still that get value out of with the whole backpacking idea. Yes. So he'll have that shortly. Again, does he have a buyback yet? Yes, he does. His backup.
Catch us if you can.
Medusa, 6,400 gold.
For Medusa, she's actually, she already does have the Moon Shard.
Yeah.
There's still some ways to go about it. There's also for her, of course, there's also a lot of backpack shenanigans she can do. On top lane. Will they find the Arc Warden?
They saw Chaos Knight this whole
that's
time.
a CK, never mind.
That gem, so not as big of a deal, but still a kill on CK would be nice. Again, I don't think he would have a buyback here either. And they are eventually going to drop him, so now he's dead for 100 seconds. So it's going to continue to happen.
That could open up the base for them. Of course, Thompson already doing his best at trying to push out the waves, but even there's only even so much an Arc Warden can do. And it's difficult for him to commit to a push just yet, because the lack of vision doesn't really give them any information about where the opponents are right now. And I mean, this is a Bane mid, but there could be a Mirana right next to him for all he knows. So it's going to be difficult for Thompson to push out the waves, really. I'm surprised that Nico is doing it bottom lane instead of the Arc Warden, really.
Yeah, Nico actually has to be careful about that. Tidehunter's coming in. Coming the flank, even hook shots into the creep wave right there. I mean, he has an ag, so short cooldown. But top lane, here we go. Echo Slam in the backlines, catches a couple, including Thompson right there. He 4 staffs away, he's barely alive. He'll stay alive for now. No pain will finish him, and he has to buy back here. 120 seconds, he does. So does Ancient Apparition, who got picked off. Nyx Assassin sitting inside of that axe effect right here, but he's going to be stunned up now. It's hard to kill him, though. Maybe you want to go for objectives instead. They go for the tower. The Aegis is going to be popped. Tempest double up for Thompson here. He was not able to use that before, and now Mirana's in trouble. The Bloodthorn Silence, she's definitely dying to that. If anything, the burn would have killed her, but she goes down, and that's a 10-kill streak stopper as well. So Thompson, for what it's worth, gets plenty of bounty out of that. And they do eventually hold despite that great initiation. Having the buyback was obviously the key there for Arc Warden.
Yep. This was a great turnaround, but what an initiation from this Earthshaker. Damn. What an Echo Slam. Yeah. Unfortunately for them, though, if Nico was there, I think that fight looks completely different. Him not being there, actually, I'm not sure he could have saved them, But with him being there, they might even get more kills, potentially even the Dusa, because they definitely lacked a lot of like catch at a certain stage. So it really sucked. But at the same time, you also have to think about it this way: if Nico isn't bottom lane, the Tide Hunter is top lane as well, then, because he doesn't have to defend bottom. And then with the Ravage, that might just be a completely different fight altogether as well. So in that sense, still a good fight for SFT after in hindsight. But of course, not having buyback on this Arc Warden hurts a lot.
I'll tell you what, Bane's proven more and more to be high value in this later game too. Again, stopping the Tempest double, so he gets that one to wear off. BKB from Illidan. Fiend's Grip? No, it's not ready. So there's a TP out. Lucky for him, that Fiend's Grip was not ready. But yeah, we've seen it now several times. And another example right there, Thompson went to send his Tempest double up to the top racks right here. He force-staffed it in, but Bane just simply slept him. And then by the time the duration was over, the Tempest double basically died off a second later. It was only so long duration. So yeah, Bane really is proven to be a very effective hero against that idea, at least. So they have this window now of about 7 minutes or so, where, of course, Arc Warden does not have the buyback, so their abilities are coming back up. And speaking of level 25s, continuing to go through that, the -2 second enchant totem cooldown on Earthshaker picked up. Oh, Jesus.
That was a mistake.
BKB'd right there, so he's now down to 6 seconds. That was definitely an accident. That you'll see that occasionally in later games where people are like swapping around items constantly from the backpack. You'll hear the BKB go off like that. It's like, oh yeah, that's probably what happened. Just so much chaos going on. What did I say? Sandel, Medusa, the 2 second Stone Gaze, Mirana, the Split Arrow, of course, Bane, the 100 movement speed. Fun seeing that, and then 20% cooldown reduction on Tidehunter there.
Yeah, the movement speed is great, honestly. It just allows him to be pretty much anywhere he wants to be. And especially when you deal with this split push from the Arc Warden, you definitely need, the extra movement speed to just go from lane to lane to lane. So, it was actually pretty good talent.
Bottom lane, Earthshaker going in, Shadowblade. Not really anything to go in on, though, as the whole team of SFTe is just really sitting in their base, minus Chaos Knight, who has the massive army up here of the Manta Style and Phantasm. Another 25 seconds or so for the Phantasm. Got the one extra spawn, and that is going to force the reaction out of Medusa, who, by the way, does have the backpack, or the BKB inner backpack now. And also another 50 and 100 gold saved up. So, again, we're really entering a phase where it's just so much ridiculous gold on either side.
Yeah, we're in this for the long run, really. This could be over in, say, 5 minutes if just one mistake could really just end the game pretty much. But it could also be over it could also take another 20-30 minutes really. As you can see, as you pointed out, the Dusa can't really commit to these pushes if there's a CK literally knocking on your door. And similarly, Thompson is keeping the mid lane pushed out as well, making it difficult for them to push out the mid wave. And I don't know, it's just overall very difficult for Vega to commit to a push. I think they have to play it patiently at this stage, and they have been already for this thus far. They've been playing very patiently, but they just need to be a little bit more patient. Get the next Roshan, wait for a pick-off, and then pretty much do what you did last time when you forced out the buyback in the Arc Warden.
Love seeing the Arc Warden use the Helm of the Dominator now, and seeing those shenanigans. But that was a good job by Bane. He saw the Satyr creep that he took over, and he killed it off as soon as possible. So I'm sure Arc Warden's going to try to use that to position in spots to TP into and make some clever plays. But again, his first one getting killed off, at least top lane. Clockwork, Fiend's Grip. There's Mirana porting with the bots level 2, and that should be an easy kill on Clockwork. He has a buyback, but he's dead for 85. And they're going to keep going top lane, but the Chaos Knight doing a good job of splitting the creep wave up back here and going to try to go up against the back door. And yeah, there's no way he's killing that. Up there. Top lane. Oh, that's a Tempest double. They kill it. These bubbles, though, man. It's going to be so frustrating. Finally, almost have a tier 3 tower kill in there. They're going to get it here, but it takes forever. Nice blast also coming in. They're going to go for some TPs out. Bottom lane, maybe catch the Chaos Knight. That's what they're going for. Ravage hits him. TP in from Mirana now. Once again, taking advantage of the spots level 2. Could they have a stopper? They do not. As the BKB TP is successful. So, nice distraction from Chaos Knight there once again. Gets Vega Squadron to react as a team here. Roshan's up in 25.
This is a very nerve-wracking game. I mean, it's already nerve-wracking to watch, but I can only imagine how it feels like playing it. You really don't want to commit to a push, because if you commit to something like a 5-man push just now, you're going to likely lose or at least trade unfavorably, and then you pretty much waste all the time that you've spent thus far. And no, CK, is that going to be a kill? Doesn't have the vision for it.
Oh, that Glimmer Cape value coming into play, and again TPing in. Echo Slam wasn't really the prettiest right there. It does hit Pablo a little bit, but they are going to get Illidan in the end. Again, he's dead for 100 now. He will have a buyback, but nice response there. So, in these longer games, the thought of Divine Rapier comes to mind. Is that something that either of these teams you think could benefit from, or would it just be too risky in this game?
It could work on the Medusa for sure, but I think it's too risky because both sides have so much kill potential on either hero, really. If anything, I guess Arc Warden could. No, it doesn't work on the Tempest Double anymore. I don't know. It's not really an item you want to pick up just yet. I don't think. I think the longer the game goes, for sure you're gonna think about it, because at the end of the day, Divine Rapier can make the difference. But again, both teams have so much kill potential on either side, really, on any target. Medusa, yeah, maybe tanky, but he can always kill her, really. So I don't know. It might be something to think about, maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes down the line, if they don't really see any progress.
Yeah.
But I think for now, if they just play the way they've been playing so far, they should be able to get racks soon.
Well, that Curry going down, nothing on it though, so not really a huge deal there. What did I see? Oh yeah, Scythe picked up on Tidehunter, so even the Tidehunters really damn farmed right here. Saw that come into play as they got the successful kill.
Going with the Scythe instead of the Refresh Orb, which he had queued up earlier, which I very much agree with. They just need more ways of dealing with the Tempest Double. You pointed out how the Bane is already a good counter to it because of the Nightmare, but having the Sleep on top of it just makes it very difficult for Arc Warden to really apply pressure onto the racks. And he hasn't really touched any of the racks in the past, what, 10 minutes almost?
It's been a while. Chaos Knight top lane. They're going to catch up to him. Echo Slam, the arrow on top. Attacks, the Fiend's Grip to secure it. Same story. He's dead, but he has a buyback. I'm saying that often here lately. They're going to kill the Shrine and maybe do Roshan here.
That's going to get them a free Rosh. I don't think SFT are going to buy back and contest it. They wouldn't make it on time anyway. This sucks a little bit for them, really, giving away Roshan like that. And this is one of those kills that really hurt, because he didn't really accomplish anything. He died pretty much very close to his own base, also very close to Roshan. So Vega didn't even waste he didn't waste a lot of time on Vega's side anyway, so this is something that SFT cannot afford to happen, having pretty much useless kills or useless deaths like that, or stupid deaths like that happen.
Yeah. Look where I'm pinging, by the way. They smoked a siege creep way up here.
Damn.
Just behind the tree. And there's no pings coming out for Vega, so they definitely do not see it. Arc Warden, that's the Tempest Double again. Just gonna kill that off there, but so some kind of nifty play is gonna be happening here in the near future, or at least that'll be the plan, pending Vega somehow scouting that out. But again, I don't believe they saw it, as no reaction really happened.
This is pretty much classic way of dealing with games like these, when you don't know how to really breach high ground, when you don't know how to take racks.
Oh. Are they
Dominate.
really going? Or the Divine Rapier on Medusa. There's a Ravage. They're going to get Clockwork, it looks like. Nyx Assassin in the burrow. Trying to keep them at bay. He's good for that. However, the melee racks is starting to fall. Arc Warden sends some illusion spot him. They're not fighting this, though. Medusa just sitting up front. Doesn't even have the axe currently in his inventory. He has that in his backpack. Moving really slow as well because the boots aren't there. Oh, the Lincoln Sphere popped out with the Reality Rift. There's the Phantasm Army. They're going for it. The Stone Gate's going to be used, though. The Echo Slam. Chaos Knight's in trouble. He will fall. He buys back immediately in the back lines. The bubbles up. But G just leaps right in, says, let's fight, bitches. Tops in. He's going to stay alive for the time being, though. And the Chaos Knight Army in the back lines doesn't going to pick up an Earthshaker. They do take out the Aegis as well. On to Mirana. Down goes Medusa. The Divine Rapier drops on the ground. And did Chaos Knight get it? He sure did. They pick off Mirana. Uh-oh. There's the thing, going the Divine Rapier, bottom lane, the racks. Taking some pressure, Medusa buys back immediately, though, and will start to push it out.
Well, this is why I wasn't a fan of the Divine Rapier pickup in the first place. Yeah, you get racks out of it, but at the same time, it's so easy for both sides to kill pretty much the cores on either side as well. I think this was just a... I mean, at the same time, you could even argue that Olohodens could have played it safer as well. He could have, you know, maybe retreated a little bit and not be in a compromising position as he was. But as a Medusa, with the Divine Rapier, you're gonna try and want to hit the racks. I mean, that's the whole purpose of purchasing it in the first place. And I think SFT just, you know, played it well. They knew, alright, that's a Divine Rapier, just kill the Medusa and we're Gucci, and they did. Yeah, they invest a lot of buybacks into it. What was it, like 2 buybacks? 3 buybacks? 2 buybacks. But it's nothing, really.
Here we go, top lane. Sleep it on the Tempest double once again. Pablo jumps in, Lotus Orb on him. He's in that burrow, trying to 4-step backwards. They go on Medusa. Bloodthorns put out the pull back in. If they kill Medusa, that would be a dieback. Chaos Bolt hits. That Divine Rapier Chaos Knight. He's going to be locked down by the Fiend's Grip, though. The Ravage comes out in return, and now Chaos Knight's in trouble. He's overcommitted. That's going to be a Divine Rapier back on the ground and traded right back to them. So you have a Divine Rapier, guys. You cannot go YOLO like that. I mean, he went for the big play, and it did not pay off, though. And he gives it right back. Oh, they're going to kill the range tracks, though, middle. Tempest double. It's not going to get the melee, though. And we'll be able to stop it there. So who got the Divine?
It should be on the Medusa again.
Marana got it. No, wait,
still,
what?
No, it's still on the ground. It's still on the ground.
Oh.
Right.
They're just keeping it there for, you know. I wonder
they
if
might just keep it.
I was gonna say, well, maybe they'll just leave it as a, like, you know what, that was a mistake.
No. Gonna give it back to the Medusa.
Give it to Earthshaker. Come on.
See, this is also one of the reasons why I thought no side should get the Rapier, really, because both sides are gonna lose it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dusa is gonna lose it again. At the same time, though, Dusa did get 2 racks out of it with the Rapier. Though, as I say, that Thompson is just gonna get 2 racks for free anyway. Is he?
Oh wow, yeah, he's in the base.
So
You're
close.
right. You got the bottom one already, and almost got the second melee racks. Well, the biggest difference is, though, is, well, that's a find on, who is that? That would be the Nyx Assassin again. And yep, he's dead. 90 seconds. Gem drops as well again.
Is that the 3rd gem?
It's probably like 20 gems. Yeah. It's been a lot of those.
Actually, no, it might just still be the 2nd one. It might still be the 2nd one.
All right, going to try to use a Divine once again. But again, Medusa does not have a buyback this time, where Arc Warden does.
CK doesn't have a buyback either, though. And what it looks like, Vega are going to be discouraged from just that one buyback from the Nyx Assassin. Again, this could, you know, I keep saying it, but this could end in 2 minutes. This could take another 30. This is such a wild ride right now.
Yeah, we're only 71 minutes in, so why not? Why not much longer? I feel like Vega Squadron has that history. Something about this team that they play longer matches. Oh man, middle lane again. God, even through back door, it's still doing plenty.
They TP 4 heroes for this.
And they're gonna kill the siege. Like, something's here. All right, they find the siege creep. Yeah, it's getting pretty obvious that they had something in there.
I mean, it already paid off. They got a range tracks out of it, melee racks out of it, bottom lane. At the same time, if you're Vega, you're not really too concerned with one lane racks because we have a lot of heroes to deal with these waves. But it does hurt them a little bit because it keeps their waves pushed in, and when they want to go high ground, they want to have the waves pushed out, obviously. So going forward, I don't know. It's really difficult to say who has the advantage in this game. I mean, the net worth graph, yeah, sure, it's what, 6K in favor of Vega. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, net worth doesn't matter at this point.
Net worth experience doesn't really matter at this stage of the game, really.
No. The only hero's not level 25 is Ancient Apparition, so that's a little bit of something. Where he doesn't have his, I don't even know what he get. Which
is quite impressive, to be honest. 72 minutes with a Midas for like the past, what, 50 minutes or 30 minutes at least? It's quite impressive not to be level 25, but it's also difficult. He's been trying to play it very safe. He doesn't really want to get caught out of position because that's sort of the Nyx Assassin's job, you know, scouting and, if anything, tanking a gank. But at the same time, actually, 100 chilling touch damage could make quite a difference in a team fight. That's a lot of damage. Or even 4 charges of cold feet.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of damage, but then this 120 touch. I think you would go that honestly. The cold feet is
for sure.
It's like nice utility, but
then again,
damage.
It's a way of canceling the Lincolns. You can just use 2 cold feet charges.
True. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, I think in most cases you can go with Chilling Touch.
We'll see if he eventually gets it here. But another Roshan perhaps is going to be waiting. I mean, they're checking it, but they're way too early. It's not going to be spawning for a while here. At least probably around 2.5, 3 minutes. So Medusa will port top lane. Medusa has 10,000 gold. So you're at a point now, and I know it's not on heroes like Earthshaker and Titaner. They're not getting a lot of value out of it, but why not just buy a Moon Shard for your Earthshaker, right? Like, rather than sitting on 11,000 gold, what is that really going to do for you in the end?
I think at this stage of the game, you're thinking more so about pocket rapiers more so than buying additional moon shards.
Okay.
Technically speaking, you're right. I mean, 11k gold in your bank isn't really going to do anything, but if you buy like a rapier and have it sitting in base in case you die and lose your rapier, it's worth more than just having a moon shard on either of these 2 heroes, really. And I wouldn't be surprised if he buys it soon. I'm not sure when. Yeah, he has like a 9k surplus. Please, although spend your money.
Yeah. What is that? That's a Helm of the Dominator on Nyx Assassin now too, so he even has his own. I guess Arc Warden just sold his. He's like, I'm done with this toy. Let's get rid of it.
He really is.
I was also thinking the same thing though for this Radiant side. In fact, what did Arc Warden bought something? What did he buy? Did he give a Moon Shard to somebody? No.
Might have been his. Yeah, it's his Aya Scotty.
Oh, is that coming? Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's gonna have an Aya Scotty now. There you go. All right.
I'm surprised that he actually held on to buying it this late. It's such a good item for him, really. It's gonna make it much easier to kite around the enemies, and it increases his killing potential a lot. I think the Manta style sort of lost its value at this stage of the game. Yeah, it's still nice to push with, and he can technically swap it in and out. But the Scotty's just consistently more damage, consistently more teamfight potential as well.
I was thinking too on the line of the Moon Shards here. I mean, Chaos Knight actually still does not have a Moon Shard. As he finishes his AC, which is great, but that's what I was thinking with Arc Warden, where spend maybe gold to get him one. But going the Eye of Scotty first, obviously he has other ideas in mind for himself at this point still, but something else to look forward to, I guess. We're now 75 minutes in, talking about Moon Shards and other heroes. That's where the topic's gone now. Like, what else do you really talk about in a game like this? Earthshaker has a. Oh no, I thought he was going for a Daedalus. That wasn't him though. That was actually Mirana. So she's going back to that now. We mentioned that earlier.
Yep, might just drop the BKB for it at some point. This is gonna be. This is gonna be dead Nikwa.
Bean Script. Yeah, that should be a kill. Ice Blast is gonna hit multiple heroes, but nice find there, and he's dead for 110. No buyback. Roshan's up in a couple seconds. 10 seconds.
And they know it as well, like that there's no buyback on the clockwork because they forced it out. This is rough. Giving away the Aegis again and what, the 3rd cheese at this stage? Did they actually use the first 2 cheeses? I guess they did.
I think I saw Earthshaker maybe sell the cheese even. I saw something funky at the shop, so I don't know what was going on, but yeah, that's something else.
Either way, giving away the Aegis and the cheese like that isn't really great for SFT. It's not great at all. You could argue, yeah, the Dusa has to put an item away for either item, so maybe it actually tends to hurt her, especially since she does have her 2nd rapier now. But dropping down the boots for an Aegis isn't that big of an issue. And, I think they just missed the Roshan spawn, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did too. I was just about to mention that. It's like, he's not spawning yet, and they just will walk out right as it spawns.
It's unfortunate for them. If they had known this, they would be able to take Roshan now, and they would have it uncontested. I don't think SFT will contest it, even though I think they should. But I think they might just go for base trades if they do see Vega go for the Roshan. Though as I say that, they don't have great vision around the map, so they don't really see a Roshan attempt anytime soon anyway.
Well, Medusa pushing out the middle lane now. We'll see when they check Roshan again. Again, the vision, as far as that's concerned, really nothing for the Radiant side. Darasan has a little bit of aggressive vision here. The top part, you got the Tempest double. Wow, he's even going to force a BKB out. Medusa here.
I wonder why he didn't just Nightmare the Tempest double.
That's a good point, actually. He's been doing that. So. Maybe they thought that was a real one for some reason. Maybe they thought the huge fight was coming out. Cause, yeah, that just seemed like a odd reaction on their part.
Well, I mean, it might have been a cooldown. I wouldn't know why he would have used the Nightmare before that, but no, a bit surprising. Well, but as I said, Vega is going to get this rush one uncontested. SFT is not going to look to contest it. They don't have any vision to support a contest either, or anyway.
Earthshaker, the Bane, he saves him initially, but now he drops the gem. He's going to give it back. That's been a game of back and forth. Nyx now has 2 gems himself. Both actually were purchased by Vega in this case. Aegis picked up on Medusa. He currently has a Butterfly, Mantis Style, and Ags in his backpack. Most Medusas would love to have that in general in their inventory. He's just sitting with that in his bow now.
It's absolutely insane.
It's a Butterfly.
Double rapier action now, though.
The prize is mine.
All right. It's just now, are they going to use it? Last time they kind of went YOLO-ish and just charged right in. And buybacks, I got to think everyone really has one. Well, all the important heroes do at least. At this point. Look at this, though. SFTe is moving out. They haven't done this for a while. I feel like they're maybe getting tired here. Like, let's try something.
Well, they know that Medusa has a double rapier. If they kill her now...
Oh, my gosh. Don't tell me they're going to get Medusa. There we go. The hook shot hit the creeps. Oh, no! No, the angle wasn't there. Here comes a Ravage counterplay. And going for the turn kills. Aloha Dance is getting very low, though. He will fall. The Aegis popped. Remember, they still have to make it through that. Now, Clockwork goes down. Pablo sitting inside that Axe effect. They will go tight on her. But now the Ryu, he's back up. And the Stone Gaze is popped. Illidan trying to run away. Does he have a Mystic Snake? He does, but out of range. Nyx Assassin staying alive the whole time. But that's a distraction because, meanwhile, Thompson, he's going for the middle. And Vulnerability, though, stops that. But he turns attention to Marana. That's Bane, excuse me. Bane does survive. Thompson himself, he's getting very low. The Ryu on top of the E-Blade saves him, actually. And now, Medusa is dropping low. He's dead. That's a double Divine Rapier on the ground. Oh, no. Okay, they're not going to be able to get it as Nyx Assassin has to get away, but buyback's coming out. That E-Blade, you're right, from Ancient Apparition.
I'm not... I think Argon would have died without that E-Blade for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Big shout, by the way, to the Bane in keeping the racks alive. That melee racks in the mid should have died, but he kept Arc Warden busy. He even canceled the TP from the Arc Warden as well with his ultimate, making sure to keep him in place. Yeah, sure, he dies for it, but it's very well worth it keeping that racks alive. And what a crazy fight, really. If that hookshot connects, Dusa might even die earlier and potentially dies twice. But because the hookshot doesn't connect on the Dusa, they get, you know, they take their time to kill her, and it allows Vega to respond. Overall, just very crazy, and I love this movement from SFT applying the pressure here and almost forcing Vega to make mistakes as well.
Yeah, right. Like, it's the first time we've seen them do that in a very long time. Really, this whole game, frankly, kind of move out like that, and it almost worked out. Now, great defense ultimate of Vega Squadron, but it does show you that SFTe definitely still has a lot of firepower, and this by all means is still going to go either way at this point. I mean, buyback situation now, you have no buybacks across the board on the Dire side, especially on Marana and Medusa, of course, the big ones. They're on a timer here, whereas Arc Warden does currently have a buyback, and that's something, if I'm SFTe, I almost want to say I would try that play again, right? Like, it worked out so well, and now you have the buyback advantage. Like, why not try for a play like that, especially without the they did that into an Aegis and a buyback, and it still worked out for them.
Well, the thing is, it only really worked out because the Dusa was caught out of position. She was pretty much by herself farming in the jungle, and because it worked the last time, it's unlikely to work another time because Alordans is going to be much more aware of it, especially since he doesn't have the Aegis anymore, so she's going to be much more careful. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those ports is just always going to sit right behind her, making sure that if there is somebody jumping her, there's some sort of response immediately. So, yeah, it worked nicely for sure, but I think SFT need a different approach now. Or maybe attack from a different angle. Try and, you know, but maybe not the Dusa, maybe the Marana first.
Sure. Just try something else. 81 minutes in, you gotta try it all. Feels like an SFTe trying to make it a play right there. Again, got plenty out of it, but they were not able to get really the objective necessarily of the base. And so Vega Squadron can continue to turtle it out. Slowly push out Medusa. You can tell how scared she is now, though. It's like she barely peeks out of the base and then just immediately runs back in as soon as he kills a couple of creeps. So killing off the illusions. Well, there you go. Kills a creep and runs back. Has a Lincoln's currently in the stash, sitting on 10,000 gold. I mean, Daedalus in the backpack of Mirana, by the way. So he has that to swap in. If they get involved in a fight, tops in, sends in the Tempest double. That's going to be killed off pretty quickly. So continues to be a case now. Well, really now it's, you see SFTe, they're getting a lot more comfortable. They're all of a sudden realizing that Vega Squadron's on their back foot, and they're now slowly pushing up as a team. And it's just how this game has shifted here in these last 20 minutes of what was the opposite, where Vega Squadron was controlling the map and pushing into the base constantly. And now it's SFTe's turn.
SFT smoked up now as well. I like this. They're sick. They just don't want to have this game go on any further. Well, it's difficult, really. This might just be a Hail Mary play as well. Though they do know that Vega don't have buybacks. They used pretty much all their buybacks in the last game.
They knew Illidan was there the whole time, and now he jumps. That was a really late jump, but Illidan is in trouble. Pops the Manta style, the Phantasm. It was used earlier, actually. So G's running him down, but it's not enough damage. The BKB helps him get away. See the Centaur cancel the stomp a couple times. But a bit of a distraction right there. That meanwhile, the top lane, they were kind of pushing in, but it's also held, so ultimately no kills come of that. CK would not have had a buyback either. He would have been dead for 3.5 minutes, but, or 3.5 minutes before the buyback, I should say. But he stays alive. He ports back. And he is going to regen as a result. So Vega Squadron continues to hold again at their base. Moonshard situation, it's still the same. Does Chaos Knight even have one yet? Okay, Chaos Knight has one. Now, whether he bought that or Arc Warding gave it to him, who knows, but...
I wonder what SFT is going to do from here on out. I mean, they smoked up just now, and at the end of the day, they didn't commit to that smoke. It looked like they wanted to smoke up and try and force a fight, but then they didn't commit to it. So I wonder if they're just going to wait for the next Roshan, because the way the game has developed now is that SFT is pushing out every wave and keeping Vega inside their own base. So this does give them the opportunity to take the next Roshan potentially. But at the same time, Vega is a team that can contest the Roshan because they have the Titan, they have the Earthshaker. They're completely different than SFT earlier was. So I don't know. I wonder if SFT is really just waiting for the Roshan with the Aegis, because if they do have that, I wouldn't be surprised if Topside just goes to ham. Double Arc Warden.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're at a point now, 2 minutes remaining before the buybacks are up. So SFTe doesn't look like they're going to really be able to make the most of those lacking of buybacks here. Roshan, 20 more seconds before he can spawn. And then we'll see what we're looking at after the fact. But slowly controlling that area. And Nyx Assassin just continues to push up that top lane. Make sure to keep them in their base. Ancient Apparition also spamming that Ice Blast, of course. Another good tool. By the way, he's level 25.
Yeah, he is level 25. And he did go for the 4 charges of Cold Feet.
There you go.
Again, it's a nice way of triggering the Lincolns, and it's just a good way of harassing opponents in a team fight. Because the Cold Feet forces enemies to not stay in place, right? And forces them to run around in weird directions. And it punishes them for maybe not paying attention to certain areas and to certain abilities. So it could very well prove to be the difference maker in a team fight. Who knows?
You're mentioning Lincolns, but to be honest, Medusa sold hers a while ago. Mirana doesn't even have one, so yeah, Lincoln's popper.
Actually, no, it's still in the stash. The Lincolns is still in the stash. I only have a third rapier.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Why not?
Third rapier incoming.
There we go. Let's get number 3.
I think this is going to be a pocket rapier. I don't think he's going to have 3 rapiers on the hero.
So just have it for safety. Yeah, he puts it in the stash. So he has a rapier and a Lincoln's. Those will be the replacement items if he happens to die here. All right, that's something.
Our Roshan's up now, so SFT are going to try and get this one.
Octarine Core on Ancient Apparition.
4 Roshans have been taken, and this is going to be the first one for SFT.
Aegis. Yeah, give it the clockwork. Why not? pick it up on him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Giving it to Clockwork over, because it's obviously they're so loaded with items, but maybe they could have given it to the Chaos Knight. Like, he could have swapped out the BKB, if anything, or maybe the Diffusal. I don't know.
The thing is, Chaos Knight isn't a great Aegis carrier. If his
Yeah.
illusions die before he respawns, he's pretty much useless anyway. If anything, Arc Warden probably, but like you said, he's loaded with items, which he pretty much needs all of. So I don't know. It's a difficult call to make, and with this, Nikwa can play a little bit more aggressively. He doesn't have to care about whether he dies early on or not. You know, as the initiator or as the main initiator anyway.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
It's going to be important for him to be able to play like that.
Interesting move here from Vega. Illidan goes in. He's feeling ballsy here. Bane, Glimmer Cape though, we'll save him for now. The arrow's going out. It actually did hit Nyx Assassin. Ravage is ready. He's going to follow up with the Ravage. Catches a couple of heroes off to the side. Clockwork's dealing with that Bane. But Nyx Assassin, he is sheeped up currently. Can he maybe get the Axe up? The Impale goes up. It's not going to be enough, though. He will eventually fall to Starstorm too much. So he's dead for 110. But you see, again, Arc Warden trying to be crafty right here. The real one's falling back. Tidehunter's trying to run after him, but cannot commit far enough. Thus, he'll be fine. So, again, a big clash only results in the one hero kill. Been seeing that a lot here.
But they almost lose the mid melee ranks.
This is real Arc Warden.
Well, that's real, yeah. That's
wow. That happened. But he BKB, so.
What? That was his 10-second BKB charge.
Jesus.
It's crazy that he's had the BKB for, what, 30 minutes?
88
only
minutes. 10-second BKB charge.
Anyway, bit of a misplay on SFT side. The Nyx Assassin just wasn't in a good position. Otherwise, if they had the gem there, they kill the Bane and they potentially kill the Earthshaker as well. But he was caught out, of course, with the arrow, and even before that, he just wasn't really in a good position, which sort of sucks which is sort of a result of his item choice. He went with a Force Staff and no blink there. It's not necessarily a bad item build by any means, but of course it does limit his mobility.
Well, Earthshaker, he's scouting out a little bit further than anyone's gone before on his team, or in a long time at least. He has an Invisor to help with that. Don't know if he's going to really find anyone, though. Okay, now he needs to be careful. He pops the Shadow Blade as they're coming in. They're poured in actually on top of him. Chaos Knight is the target. The follow-up damage is there, and he's dead for 120. Again, obviously has a buyback, but that's exactly what they were looking for. The bot's level 2, allowing for the massive gank. As somebody was porting in. Oh, never mind. They ported out. The Centaur at the bottom lane being controlled by Nyx Assassin. So they got that as a tool to get in there. Ooh, smoke play from Vega. And now they're moving out a little bit. You look at Thompson, though. He ports the Tempest Double, but it's seen by Medusa. And so probably not going to get much out of this. Although, doing some decent damage through that. But yeah, again, anytime they slightly move out, Arc Warden seems like he's there to bring them right back.
Oh, no, Pablo. Getting caught out again.
Yep, he is probably dead here. There you go. Nyx Assassin does have a buyback. They found a couple of kills, though. So currently 2 players dead on SFT East side. But again, can Vega really do anything with it? It just seems to be the theme. So the only time they really pushed into the base was when they basically just made a decision to, like, group as 5 and let's go. It seems like that's been the case for both sides. When they've grouped as 5 and basically just ran at them, that's when they've gotten to, you know, most of their objectives here. So maybe that's the play. And Vega Squadron almost seems like they're doing that.
At the same time, they also traded quite heavily for it. They died on what the Potom and the Tidehunter and whatnot, and they had to buy back on the Potom as well. So it was a pretty costly trade for them. Though, I mean, with double Rapier, for sure they get these 2 racks, right?
Nope.
Well, they should anyway.
Because Ice Blast and Tempest Double is a little bit too strong. I mean, Medusa's not like, he's below half-life. Yeah, he can't really go anymore. Like, he has to fall back. So much for that.
I guess they forced out a buyback.
Yeah, on Nyx. Sure. Positives here for Vega Squadron. So now if they find him again.
It's not an easy game for them.
No, I understand that the state of the game.
No.
It's like they understand that I'm sure they're not excited that they're playing an hour-and-a-half match so far, but
They really are.
they're competitive people. You know, and even this is the thing we've talked about on the side of SFTe. Like literally, this match doesn't matter for them as far as this event is concerned. Yet they're still grinding it out in a 90-minute match. That's why I find it always funny when people suggest like, oh, they're not going to try. You know, people are competitive, man. If you're playing Dota 2 at this high of a level, you want to win. There could literally be nothing on the line, as is the case here for SFTe, and they're doing everything they can to win and not lose this game. And we're seeing another example of it. So again, I understand what their mentality of that they have, but man, this can just continue to go on for a long time. It seems like we're already an hour-and-a-half into it at this rate. It's like, who's going to blink first?
Yeah, and at a certain stage of the game, I wouldn't be surprised if one team just sort of snaps, you know? It's, yeah, both teams have sort of been playing patiently up until this point. Oh, looks to be a fight here.
Well, Nix, remember, that's a dieback. They catch him. Play going to save him a little bit. He'll survive for now. The Ravage, the second Ravage even comes out. The Echo Slam, and they get two, including that Nix Assassin. So Chaos Knight is going to be stoned up. Meanwhile, they got to deal with Arc Warden back on the base side. It's a real Arc Warden, by the way. He's beating down the melee racks. It looks like he may finally get in the middle lane, but now is he in trouble as they're responding to him. Bane is here. Does not have Fiend's Grip. Has a Nightmare. Going to activate that right there with the Scythe. Going to set up. Illidan's coming over. Doing what they can, but the Hurricane Pike's away, and now Thompson turning, puts the bubble down, and that's plenty of right-click coming out. Afterlife's feeling it. He goes down. Bane's dead, as well as Tidehunter with no buyback. Buyback on Medusa coming out to defend right here. So the melee rack's middle going down. Now, do they go more? I mean, it's 4 versus 3 at this point. Yeah, yes, they do. Rapier. That would be a dieback. Onto the Medusa right there. Illidan has one of those rapiers. He gets the kill, and that might just do it. SFTe maybe just broke through as they're going for top melee. That will be Mega Creeps. And with Medusa staying dead for 2 minutes, I know they don't want to call it GG after all of this game, but they'll just finish it the old-fashioned way. Wow. Yeah,
GG's called. I don't know, what a game from SFT, really. They had such a bad start, really. The CK got absolutely trashed on the lane, even though they, you know, committed obviously to that tri lane, and the execution from say 25-30 minutes onwards was, I wouldn't say perfect, but they played it really, really well. They were so patient. They did a lot of right moves. Sure, they still got caught out, and you know they still had a lot of mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, they still executed very well. And Vega, ultimately, I think they also played it very well, and they were very patient. But I think there's just a couple of small nuances that decided this game, really. Like if they kill Thompson earlier, or if they maybe don't commit the double Ravage up top and still kill everybody, or even earlier if they retreat just for just like a minute and don't give away the double Rapier, for example, or the one Rapier at the time to the CK, could be a completely different game. But I don't know, both teams played it really well, but SFT really impressive. That Arc Warden, man.
Yeah, no, Thompson absolutely was a reason that they were able to win that game for sure. That's what Arc Warden can do, though, and he can delay it forever and eventually find the opening, as they did. So really not much more analyzing to do. Double Divine Rapier on Clockwork at the end always looks funny, but obviously happened to pick those up as the game was finishing there. But we're going to go on a break. I'm sure the players want one too, but we got a game 2 coming up. SFTe will be up 1-0 in this series now. So again, ultimately not playing for anything really than just pride at this point. Well, they're up 1-0. We'll see if they can ultimately finish the spoiler against Vega Squadron. I'm BreakyCPK, joined by Scam Guys. You're tuning into the SkinCoin WCA. If you type !SkinCoin in chat, you can get information on the giveaway going on, as well as you go to skincoin.org, the latest cryptocurrency on the esports market. You can trade in your favorite Dota 2 and CSGO skins. Again, that's skincoin.org. Game number 2 coming up next, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.